कितने घंटे की वो आपने लगाया था 200 कुछ मिनट की अभी 10 मिनट 45 मिनट बाकी है। एक घंटे बाद फिर क्या लगा वो वाला काट बात को मेरे को
I actually forgot my card this morning, so let me write down for you. Yes, because I would really love to know more. Absolutely.
How to fear less and live.
Yeah, that is my
I'll give you my card.
Oh yeah, where are you going? Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for your
It's not a coincidence. So I have the women at Global Change for about 500,000
different ways to get the message out to people.
We have the international conferences for business amongst each other as far as networking, learning like this, but then we also have a service component for serve. And so, what I'd like to talk to you about is strong feeling very intuitive. Every day I say, here I'm responsible.
That's up to you. I know I'm supposed to meet you. When you said so,
Maybe we'll have a chance to this morning.
कार्ड देगा हूँ
Well, that the other card is like text green card, Apple white card. The white card is the green card, that's my personal style. This is my business strategy. I do a lot of business strategy for like everyone. Steve Jobs was and very so I want to put them now into the limelight worldwide. Okay, so please reach out to me, text me, and we'll schedule a time. How's that?
I request everybody to settle
Nice to
down.
meet you.
nice to meet you too.
I request everybody to settle down. We are starting the next session. So the next session is on art and science. I'm not aware about it and I'm here to learn about it. It's on STEM, and let me welcome Ms. Bharati and she will introduce us to this new concept. Over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm an education filmmaker and a writer. And I've traveled to over 30 schools across the country and made documentary films on them. And I've also written 2 books on India's 21st century schools and the best practices that are being used in these 21st century schools. Indian parents have always accorded great importance to science, technology, engineering and math, the STEM subjects. How many people in here think that science and math is critical for getting a good job? Okay, so my goal is that after this talk, none of you are going to think STEM alone is enough for the success of your children. To do this, I'm going to take the help of three of the greatest minds that have ever lived. Next. Leonardo da Vinci, Albert Einstein, and Steve Jobs. All these three great minds had a great foundation in science, technology, engineering, and math, but they also understood the vital importance of the arts. Leonardo da Vinci, one of the greatest artists that ever lived, was also a scientist, was also a mathematician. Currently, there's a fight going on between the National Gallery and the Royal Palace in England. The Royal Palace insists that Leonardo da Vinci was first and foremost a scientist, whereas the National Gallery says he was a painter. To Leonardo da Vinci, these divisions were meaningless. He was a person who understood that arts is as important as science and math for future success. As you can see in his drawing, next slide please. Yeah, as you can see in his very famous drawing, the Vitruvian Man, which displays the perfect proportions of the ideal man, he has had needed a background in geometry, physics, history, biology, and of course art to make this extraordinary piece of work. And this piece of work is the result of a STEAM-based education. So it's no longer STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. It's STEAM. The previous slide. It's STEAM. Science, technology, engineering, and math plus the arts. This is the way forward. So next we come to Albert Einstein. And Albert Einstein, of course, we know he was a renowned physicist, but he was also a concert pianist and a violinist. And he was another STEAM-powered individual who summed up the inextricable link between art and science with this quote: "After a certain high level of technical skill is achieved, science and art tend to coalesce in aesthetics, plasticity, and form. The greatest scientists are always artists as well." And then we come to, of course, Steve Jobs, modern-day innovator, design guru. What made Apple special? Apple wasn't extraordinarily special in its technology. It made computers and phones like everybody else. What was special about Apple was the marriage between technology and art and design. So, was Steve Jobs a master salesman or a master designer? He was clearly both. Steve Jobs had a very strong foundation in a STEAM education, and he has always been a proponent of integrating the arts in every subject. So now that we know what STEAM is and how it has played such an important role for all the greatest minds in history, how is this relevant today? Today we prize academic achievement more than ever. Scoring high marks on standardized tests which focus on math, science, and reading is the primary objective. When this happens in schools, all the resources are put towards preparing students in science, math, and reading. And there's additional pressure on them to cut down on anything that may seem extra. And it's the arts that usually seems like it's extra. So there currently in schools the arts are actually under a great threat and are on the decline. According to a study done by Aspiring Minds, which is a well-known company, only 3% of graduating engineers in India are suitable for employment. That means 97% of our engineers are not suitable for employment. The question is why? Why are they not suitable for employment? Because they don't have the skills for a rapidly changing economy. Employers today are not looking for people who are only good at narrow vocations. They are looking for people who have critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills. They are good communicators, who have a vision, who believe in that vision, and who have the confidence to take risks to make that vision come true. These are the skills skills that artists and designers have always had. And these are the skills that art and design can give you. And this is why, to succeed in the 21st century, schools need to be developing these skills and integrating art and design in their school curriculums. America's success has been built on their liberal arts education, on interdisciplinary education, integrating science and art and design with science and technology. And that is why they are at the forefront of innovation, research and technology. India needs to catch up, because today not only are we competing with Americans and Chinese for jobs, we are in a rapidly changing world of automation and technology. More and more jobs are being automated, and very soon robots and computers are going to do most of the predictable work that we do. A McKinsey survey says that 60% of all paid predictable jobs are going to be automated with current technology. So, and worryingly, most schools are ignoring all the evidence that points out that art and design are as vital as math and science for the 21st century and for success in the near future. So in schools, we learn subjects. We learn history, we learn geography, we learn math, we learn science. I will call these learning tools. Now once a student has these tools, one has to question, now what are they going to create with these tools? These tools have to be applied to create something, and this creation is the most important aspect of education. What is the point of having all these tools if you don't know what to do with them? For example, a carpenter. A carpenter can easily acquire a screwdriver, a hammer, nails, and get all the tools together. But what is he going to make out of them? Is it a beautiful table? Is it a chair? Is it a bench? All of this requires design, creativity, and innovation. There will be many carpenters in the world, but the most admired and well-paid person will be the carpenter who can innovate. The question is, do we want our students to just be carpenters, or carpenters who can design, create and innovate, and therefore become indispensable in their line of work? This philosophy applies to all jobs in all fields. Art and design is poised to transform the economy in the 21st century, just like science and technology did in the last century, and schools need to keep up with this. As a filmmaker, as I mentioned, I've traveled to many schools in India and abroad, and I've made documentary films on over 30 schools. There are some visionary schools who are ahead of the curve, who are preparing students for the future. One such school is a school called Collège du Léman in Geneva, Switzerland, in which every child learns music from the age of 6. The arts are embedded throughout the curriculum, and the focus is on critical thinking skills, resilience, and creativity. And in fact, another visionary school right here in India is the Heritage School Gurgaon. The founder, Manit Jain, has always been on the forefront of the movement to make education relevant in the 21st century. I directed a film on the Heritage School, and I will show you a clip. You will see how throughout the project that they are working on, they are using art, design, music, math, science, reading and writing to accomplish this project. It's amazing. Can you go to the next slide? Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Yeah, play this. Of course, like in every presentation I've ever given, the video never works. Okay, give us 2 minutes, we'll just figure this out. Yeah, anyway, so basically this clip is on a school in India where they are working on a project in which they are making parachutes to understand, and they are testing the parachutes with a TT ball and a tennis ball. First they design the parachutes, then they test it with these different balls to see the weight and see which parachute can fly. So this involves design and science and math. And then they were making paper planes and testing different widths of the wings to see how far the plane can fly, and then taking a measuring tape and measuring how far it can fly. Again, this is design and math coming together beautifully. So this is the kind of STEAM curriculum that all schools need to have in this 21st century. And the students who come out of these kind of K-12 schools are the ones who are going to be the intellectual leaders and innovators of the next century. So of this century, I mean. So we need students who are motivated and competent and who bring forth solutions to tomorrow's problems. When push comes to shove, it's not about STEM versus STEAM. It's about making every student a fully literate 21st century citizen. Thank you.
Okay. As you can see, that's not me. This is not the room I'm supposed to be in, and I'm guessing that those of you are the audience that we thought we were going to speak to, Tiara and I. However, we're here and we're going to do our best. My name's Curr. My business name is Fear Less and Live More, which is ironic. Come in. Which is ironic, given that when they told me I didn't exist this morning, I actually did think I'd fallen into a parallel universe. Never mind. Okay. The subject of fear is one I think that is very close to most of us. We've all of us at some point in our lives experienced it, for sure, on some level. Whether that manifests itself as anxiety, as outright fear, or even just stress in stressful situations in our daily lives. Is there anybody here who has never, ever been afraid of anything? Did someone say yes? That's good. It's not. I'm sorry that you've all had some cause to be afraid in the past, but never mind. I'm going to sort that out. As people, as a species, we tend to look at life through two windows. Those of opportunity and fear. If we're living a life of opportunity-based focus, i.e. we're running towards Simon Cowell and his X Factor shouting, "Shout me! I'm here! I want to be the next Beyonce," then you are looking at life through a window of opportunity. If, however, you are paralysed by inaction brought about by anxiety, stress, and any other manner of emotion over which you either have no control or don't even understand why, then you're probably looking at life through a window of fear. Everything, ladies and gentlemen, has two sides to it. A coin, a story. Pane of glass is a window I like to use as an analogy. If you are the other side of my pane of glass, you can see me. Trust me, my view is much better. Yeah? Okay? There are two sides. Even with glass, we have got two sides to everything. Now, the way we look at life, largely, not exclusively, but largely, is born on memories that are attached to emotions. If we are happy most of our life, the chances are that we've got happy memories to which we will associate the emotions of joy, laughter, unconditional love. If we look at life through a fear-based window, then we're likely to be looking at life from emotional points that are pain points, i.e. rejection, i.e. abuse, domestic violence, anything you care to name that's got an emotional pain point that is difficult. When our memory remembers things, we are inclined to do one of two things. We want to repeat the experience because it's pleasurable, so i.e. we're looking at it with a happy emotional point, or we run like hell away from it in whatever way we choose because it has an emotional pain point that brings us nothing but sadness and distress. For my part, I guess I actually think I was born looking at life through a window of opportunity. I just got lost along the way, and without boring you with the finer detail, in my life, I suffered as a child at the hands of a physically abusive mother at times, one who didn't have the capacity, if you like, to love anybody other than herself, which is a bit mean of me because she did what she knew best at that time. However, it left me with a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-confidence, which you probably wouldn't believe as I'm stood up here today talking like this. But I grew up to be a people pleaser. I grew up to be somebody who would say yes when no would have been far, far more sensible. And it got me into an awful lot of trouble because I'd never ever addressed what happened to me in the past. But what I didn't know at that point was I was looking at life through a window of fear. Okay? What can we do about it? We can do a lot. We can do a lot, but we have to be self-aware. And in self-awareness comes the realisation that we, and for we mean me in this particular instance, we all of us always have a choice. We have a choice in every single thing that we do every day. From the minute we open our eyes to the minute we close them when we go to bed at night, we have a choice. And if you can't decide what colour dress to put on of a morning, and therefore you don't pick one, you put trousers on instead, you still made a choice. Not making the choice is a choice, you can't escape it. Okay? It's a fact of life. But in a broader sense, let me tell you this, we are all born, we all die. It's what we do in between that time span that makes the difference. If you are looking at life through a window of opportunity, then you are looking at life with the I can do this attitude. I can be the next Beyonce. You wouldn't want to hear that, but trust me, I could be that person if I wanted to do that, okay? If you're coming at life from a fear-based perspective, you will be having internal conversations with yourself that go along the line of, why can't I ever lose weight? Oh my God, I'm so fat, I'm so stupid, I'm so ugly, I'm not clever. Really? We begin to believe the stories that we tell ourselves, okay? You believe what you're telling you. So if you're having these sorts of conversations with yourself, I urge you to be careful because you're listening. Turn it around. Go to the other side of the glass window. Look at life, look at your life differently. I can't lose weight, really? Unless you've got a medically or a genetically predisposed reason why not, we can all lose weight. We can all stop gambling. We can always stop drinking. 5 years ago, I was admitted to hospital 24 hours away from dying. As you can see, I declined the offer. chose to stick around in the end. Yeah, this is and my consultant came to me and said, Sue, you're a very sick young woman. I'll take the young. And he said, no, I'm not joking. I don't think you're going home. Bang, boom, 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 boom. Forget Oprah Winfrey. I had November the 5th going off in my brain at that moment in time, and I didn't know how or why or if I would survive, but I knew that if I did, something would change and for the better. You might disagree when you finish listening to me, but here I am nevertheless. So what's happened today is 5 years hence, I speak, I write, I talk to people, I facilitate workshops, and what I do is help people to reboot the way they think, to reboot the way they look at themselves and their lives. Forget Apple, forget Google. This little chestnut inside our brains, this £3 bunch of tripe, which for 15 years at least, when I was in a corner in a heap, was actually more like a piece of tripe than a software. Yeah? That is the most powerful computer that will ever be invented. And artificial intelligence, when it comes along, at least in its infancy, will only ever be as good as the person that's programming it. Okay? How do we do it? We have to look at life differently. If you have a problem, what have you done to make that problem? Does anybody know? I go home on Sunday. I can guarantee that I will walk into my kitchen and go, has he seriously not seen the amount of laundry that he's doing? Has he? Really? That would be a problem for me if I allowed it to be. 34 years of marriage, I don't bother anymore. Because it's not a problem for Paul. He doesn't see it. Yeah? So what has he done to make that not a problem? He's deleted, distracted, or distraughted from the actual fact that when Sue gets home from India, she's going to be pretty peed off if she finds a little of the laundry in the basket not done. He's forgotten that little bit. He'll have distorted the fact that she'll be so happy when she comes back, she really won't care. Oh, yes, she will. Yeah? And so on. If that's not a problem for him, I then come back to the period of choice. Do I choose to let him upset me? Or do I just pick the laundry up and put it in and ask him what he wants for his tea and then tell him to make it as a punishment? Okay? The thing to remember is, with choice comes consequence, the responsibility of consequences. And for far too long, when I was living a fear-based life, the story I was telling myself was one that fit. It fit my situation. my situation became increasingly more grim, to the degree on the day that I was admitted to hospital at 9:30 in the morning, I'd already drunk a bottle of Chardonnay. Now, there is nothing worse than a reformed drunk, a reformed gambler, sex addict, shopper, standing here and telling you, you've got to do it like this. Now, what I would say to you is, you've got to do it because you want to do it. When your should becomes your must, things will start changing. When my must was, actually, I must do this, but the clock's ticking, I've got 24 hours. Yeah, that's what, it's a hell of a wake up call, ladies. I like to think now that I am not defined by who I was, or even who I am today. I like to think that I'm defined by how I've adapted and changed my circumstances. Okay, 5 years ago, I was 7 stones heavier than I am now, taking 17 different prescription meds per day, taking 44 different tablets. I wouldn't say I rattled, but there was that much Chardonnay in my stomach, you wouldn't have heard it anyway. Yeah? I made that fit. I made my story fit. I couldn't possibly get through New Year's Eve without a drink because I was at a party and it would be rude. How rude would it be for me not to get drunk at a Christmas party? Yeah? How rude would it be of me not to eat extra 10th donuts just because my grandmother had made it? They're all excuses. We need to stop making excuses. Fear, if we let it, will rule our lives. Fear, if we let it, will certainly paralyse us into inaction and keep us rooted in a past that we don't want to be in which case it never is the past, it's always our present. What I realised in recovery was, if we want to change our past, the choices we make today need to be better choices than the ones we made yesterday, and they certainly need to be the sort of choices that will lead us to a brighter tomorrow. That's called learning and growing, and through learning and growing we evolve and we become better people. We become more like the person we were meant to be before the world told us who we should be. Yeah? We are all meant to stand out. We've got fingerprints. Come on. There's not one of us in this room that's identical to each other. Take away our colours and cultures and diversities of where we live and the demographics. Look at your hands, ladies. We're all different. We're meant to stand out. We're meant to own and live our authentic truth. For 15 years at least, if not my entire life, I lived the truth of what somebody else wanted for me. I gave away my power, and I claimed it back. The 26th of September 2012, when I declined Professor Gleason's offer to shuffle off this mortal coil, and I reminded him of it. I remind him yearly when I go back, hi, I'm still here, and he goes, oh God. Because he gets then the new approved me. He doesn't get somebody that sits there and listens to a man, a very educated man, telling me how stupid I was, how irresponsible I was, how. In a position of power like that, he should be building people up to achieve their greater self, not reinforcing the story that got them there in the first place. But what he did was the same thing that I'd been doing for 15 years, telling myself I wasn't worth it. Nobody wanted to listen to what I've got to say. We all do it. We talk to people and they go, you can see it, the lights go out, and you think, really? My kids are like that. 3 kids, 6 grandkids, I'm talking to you, hello, I'm still here. And when you get that from a person of a position of power, like your doctor, or your solicitor, or somebody else who you trust because of their knowledge, their education, then we believe them as well. And we also make their story of us fit our situation, if that makes any sense. In terms of what we do with our lives, it doesn't matter. It does not matter what you or I do with our lives. It doesn't matter. I went to use the restrooms outside yesterday, and I spent the longest of time talking to a young lady in there she couldn't wait to clean the bowl after I washed my hands with her, and she was full of a passion and a joy for her employment, for the fact that she was in this beautiful building. We had, in my country, if you are a toilet room attendant or a cloakroom attendant, some people in our society would look down on you. Why? Don't. That girl in there yesterday, I had 5 minutes of pure joy with her because we had a conversation about how joyful she was given the work that she was doing. She's not a brain surgeon. For all I know, she's got a possibility, we all have. But she's chosen, for whatever reason, to be there yesterday doing the job that she did. She was happy. My message is, if you are happy, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, and what you do. It doesn't matter how much money you have or you don't have in your account. It doesn't matter how many Facebook friends you have or how many Twitter followers you have. It does not matter, because everything, ladies and gentlemen, everything is temporary. We're born, we die, it's temporary. This moment is temporary, life is temporary. All we can do is piece together the jigsaws of our broken selves, if we are broken indeed. If not, congratulations, but piece together the jigsaws of your life that will make you happy in the end. The richest man in the cemetery has nothing in his pocket, and no man ever said, I wish I'd worked longer or harder. That is a fact. Although I've yet to prove it, because I've never actually spoken to him with it. He's dead, I've said that. But you get my drift, yeah? There is always two sides to a story. We can always change. We need to take the chance to choose to change in order to become the person that we're meant to be before the world is father told us we should be. This is me, very briefly. Both of us have been thrown a curveball because we're in the wrong session. Parallel universe time, but that's all good because it's meant to happen. And if there's somebody in here who's listened to this and thought, do you know what, I'm going to have an orange juice when I go out of here, come join me at the bar, buy you one. Yeah? As opposed to a glass of wine, in which case I'll still buy you one because, again, there's nothing worse than a reformed alcoholic. However, I just won't drink it. But that aside, a question to leave you with, and I think if you think about it long enough and hard enough, it certainly blew my brains when somebody asked it to me. If you, on your last day on this earth, if you were the last person you met as the person you would have become, had you not made the choices you made during your life, what would you think? Would you be looking at the person that was about to leave this mortal coil? Or would you be looking at the new Beyonce? Or the next few jobs? Or would you be looking at the face of a beautiful brown lady in a restroom in Delhi who was so happy and joyful in her work that her heart was patently singing with joy? My point is, ladies, whatever you do with your life, however long we have left, alright, do it with purpose, with passion, in a way that makes you happy. Do it in a way that you don't ever feel the need to apologise, justify or explain yourself to anybody ever, because you do not have to do that. When I go home on Sunday, Paul, who will see this recording, sorry Cyntha, Paul will not get an ear bashing for not doing the laundry. He hasn't done it. He actually cooks and cleans the rest anyway, so that's a bonus. But the point is, do what makes your heart sing with joy. This life of ours is a one-time offer. It's not a rehearsal. Okay? We need to make it count in a way that when we die, we have no regrets. Somebody said to me the other day, do you not regret that 15 years of stupidity? My answer 15 years ago would have been, oh God, yeah, think of all the money I wasted. Hello. You know? No. My answer today, in all honesty, is no, I don't regret those 15 years. I quite enjoyed most of it, I can remember. Yeah? But the point is, everything that ever happened to me, ever, from the day I was born to this moment in time, has served to make the person that you see before you today the person who I am. And I'm actually quite proud of that person. I don't look in the mirror very much, but, you know. I am proud of the person who I've become. And that's my wish for all of you. Be proud of who you are. You were born to stand out. You weren't born to fit in. We're all square pegs in a round hole. We live in a round world. We're not meant to fit. Okay? Whatever you do with your lives, be happy. Look at life from both sides of that glass window and see everything in opportunity, not in fear. If you find yourself saying, I can't, or what if, and yes, but, bin those words. Can't, if, and but in my house are banned. If you can't lose weight, don't tell yourself I can't lose weight. Ask yourself, how can I lose weight and enjoy it? Yeah? Reframe your questions. Reboot your mindset. Who knows, one of us might put Mr. Apple on Mr. Google out of business. Thank you.
For allowing me to be a part of your session. I know that we kind of had a little scuffle earlier, not knowing where we were supposed to be, but I'm so excited to be here. Hello, beautiful ladies in the audience. How are you? Are y'all excited to be a part of this amazing conference? So I know there's a couple of ladies in the back. How about y'all come on up here? I promise you I don't bite, and if I do, you just might like it. Come on up, come on up. Have a seat up here for me.
So I'm just saving to be back my toes.
It's always
Saved to be back my toes.
just a little bit.
Grasp that opportunity, do you?
Oh, I love that pink dress. That's my favorite color. Can you tell? Yes. Well, my name is Tiana Patrice, and today Sue and I are here to talk about from fear to fearless. And I love that topic because my entire brand is built on the foundation of being fearless. In fact, my brand is #activate your fearless. And today I am going to take you through a little bit of my journey of what it took to get there, right? Because, come on, we just don't come out the womb saying, I'm going to be fearless today. We have to go through life's experiences and really be able to, like Sue said, shift your mindset. And so I certainly want to be able to, talk to you a little bit more about who I am. So my name is Tiana Patrice. I am from the U.S. of A. How many of you are in here from the U.S. of A? Anybody? You know where Alabama is? That's where I'm from the dirty, dirty South. And I'm a best-selling author of the book 52 Shades of Fearless, Powerful Declarations for the Purpose-Driven Woman. I am a global speaker, New Delhi, here we go. And I'm an international coach. And my purpose in life is to help women be able to live their best life on the other side of fear. How many of you all know that there is an entirely different life available for you on the other side of fear? You know that? I have this crazy belief that women could absolutely run this world if only we were afraid. How many of you believe that? Right? And so I am also the founder of Women's CEO Alliance, which is a full-service consulting company. We are a global consulting company that helps entrepreneurs go from the hustle and grind of entrepreneurship to the flow of being a CEO. So entrepreneurs can come into our company and get everything done. It's a one-stop shop for women. And I created this company based on the things that I didn't have as an entrepreneur. And so if I could help shorten that time frame for women to be able to get out in the world and be able to make an impact and income, right? Then that's what I vow to do. So my vow is no woman should ever have to struggle alone as long as she's willing. How many of y'all in here today are willing? Willing to make a change, willing to find out what that life looks like for you on the other side of fear, willing to actually acknowledge that fear. Fear is that thing that's a little taboo. How many of us walk every day and go, girl, you know today I was afraid to send that email. You know today I was afraid to take care of that job, right? You know I was afraid to apply for that job. Do we ever do that? No, we go, oh, well, you know, now's not the time. How many of you have done that before? Or, you know, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But when we begin to peel back the layers of that, what we really find that stinking onion is we're afraid. We're afraid. And so today I certainly want to be able to take you through that. So here's what I want you to do. I need everybody to stand up. Of course. I don't do all the, the sticky, icky boardroom trainings. You gotta move, okay? And so that's why Sue and I are together. Give me some, Sue, because we get you up and out of your seat, okay? So I need you to take your right hand and hold it up in the air and wave it all around like you just don't care. Okay, no, don't do that. So take your right hand, and I need you to pull it over your left shoulder like this, okay? And I need you to snap. Snap it up, and now shake, okay? Now take your left hand and say, hey, Tiana. All right. Then you take your left hand and you pull it over your right shoulder, and then you snap that button off like that, and then you shake. Now someone say, Tiana, what did you just have me do?
Tiana, what did you just have me do?
Okay, come on, ladies. Say it again. Tiana, what did you just have me do?
Tiana, what did you just have me do?
I just had you take your cape off. We as women come to these events with our capes on. We can't even receive. We can't network. We can't make new friends because we have this weight on us that we have to be perfect. We have this fear holding us back that we cannot do the things that we want to do. Fear comes in and will ransack your hopes. It will ransack your dreams. It will convince you that you don't deserve. Who are you to start that business? Who are you to be a best-selling author? Who are you to make a $50,000 month? Who are you? Right? That's what fear does. You can go ahead and have a seat. So today, I encourage you, as you're going through these sessions, as you're here today, instead of coming in as that cover girl, we all kind of come in as cover girl, right? We got everything covered up. We want to be perfect. I encourage you to kind of be Maybelline. Maybe lean on this sister over here and love on her, right? And maybe lean on this soul sister over there and love on her, and really be able to activate your fearless and reach back and pull your sisters forward. So 3 years ago, a little bit about my story. 3 years ago, I started feeling the shift. How many of you guys know what the shift is? You know, that moment in your life when you know you're supposed to be doing more, you know you're supposed to have more, you know you're supposed to be further in life. That moment when you're laying on your back and you're going, what am I supposed to be doing now? Nobody has ever felt that. That's where I was 3 years ago. And I remember praying and saying, oh God, if you could just please show me my purpose, right? Why is it that we're always searching for something that's already inside of us? We just have to activate it. And so 3 years ago, I began on this journey knowing that there was something more that I was supposed to do. And that thing was to be able to inspire, educate, and help women live their best life on the other side of fear. But I had to get through my own fear. And so I'm going to take you through that journey. So at the time, I was working in corporate America. I did the thing that everybody said do. You go to school, you get this job, you go and work for someone else. And I did all of that, and I was doing great, and I was happy until I wasn't. Because there was something more that I was supposed to be doing. That's just who I am. Some of you are feeling the shift right now. You know that there's something more you're supposed to be doing. So just like anyone else, I joined Google University. How many of you have joined Google University? That means at night at 2 a.m., when you're up on Google saying, how do I find my purpose? How do I write a book? How do I be fearless, right? That's the reason that Google knows your IP address by name. And so that's what I was doing. And then I remember one day it just came to me and I was like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a best-selling author, and I'm going to go help women, and they're going to be so fearless. And I ran and I told my boss. How many of y'all know that that was a mistake? How naive was I? Because I thought that was my friend, and I'm like, you're never going to believe what happened. I've been just relieved. I know now what I'm supposed to do in this world, but I never meant to quit my job. Like, honestly, I really loved what I did. At the time, I was working in my degree. My background is in health administration, so the business side of healthcare. So at the time, I was building healthcare offices. I was in concierge medicine, if you guys have ever heard of concierge medicine, boutique-style medicine. And I really loved what I did. But there was just something inside of me that was like, maybe just I could do a little bit more, right? And so let me tell you something. If you don't learn anything else from me today, know that when you begin to rise up in your fearlessness and step into that thing that you're being called to do, your purpose will become a threat to people. So my boss at the time, we had something in common. We were go-getters. We were, climbing the corporate ladder, and we were both single parents. So anytime that I came to work late and tired, she resonated with that because she was a single parent. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anytime I made a mistake at work, she resonated with that because, oh, you must have been up late with the baby. But as soon as I told her that I've been relieved and revived and had found my vision, if I came to work late, it was, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. You can't do it all. Anytime I made a mistake, it's, you're not focused. You see what was happening there? And so one day, I remember this Saturday morning, and I'll never forget it. And I literally won't forget it because there was this pain going through my toe because I just stepped on my 2-year-old's like Minnie Mouse Barbie or something, I don't know. But I was leaning on the wall, and I received a text message. Now, how many of you have sent an angry text before? Anybody sent an angry text before? They end up being at least 5 to 6 pages long, right? So I sit and I have to get this text message before I can read one text. What's happening? Another one's coming through. So my phone is like, zzz, 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 zzz. I'm like, okay, what's happening? I think there's an emergency. But it was from my boss on a Saturday. And all I read in that message was, blah, 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 blah. You're not Superwoman. You have to choose. How would you feel if somebody told you to choose? How many times in your life have you had to choose before? How many times have you actually chosen each? See, a lot of times fear convinces us that we can't choose ourselves. So here I am looking at this text message, and there's this side of me, at this time, I'm, 24, 25. So at this time, I'm still got that whole millennial mindset, like, who does she think she is talking to me like that, right? And then I see this message, and I go, oh, does she know who I am? I'm Tiana Patrice. I can't do it all. I am Superwoman, da-da-da. But guess what I realized? I realized she was right. She was right. I can't do it all. I I am not Superwoman. And so if I had to choose, I made that decision that day to choose me. And so I remember walking into her office. I'm going to borrow this piece of paper. And I was like this paper shaking in my hand the next week. And she said, I already know why you're here. She said, how much longer do you have? And I said, 30 days. Because in that moment, I made the decision to choose me. Someone said, well, Tiana, you should have stayed behind the desk. How many of you have people in your life that are saying, why do you want to do that? You're making too much money in corporate. Why would you want to pay? Why would you want to go over there and do that? Who's going to buy your services, right? Sometimes we don't have to self-sabotage ourselves because we got a circle of people around us that's already doing it. That's encouraging that fear in us. And so people say, were you afraid to quit your job? Absolutely I was. But I was more afraid of what my life may have looked like had I not made that decision. And so I believed more in that fear. So here's what that journey looked like. Y'all, when I tell y'all I failed the first couple of months, oh my gosh. Nobody told me entrepreneurship was going to be that hard. It's hard out here in these entrepreneurial streets. But you have to really align yourself with who you are at your core, and I hadn't done that. Because when I first came out, I wanted to be like everybody else. Why? Sue, why? Because I was afraid to be me. Fear had convinced me that nobody wanted to see me. They wanted to see Oprah. So I was going to give them Oprah. How many of you guys know Marie Forleo? Anybody heard of Marie Forleo? So I was going to give them the black Marie Forleo. Yes, I was too. And that resonated with no one. And I was broke. And I was miserable. And I was lonely. And I failed. But in that failure, I learned some key points that I want to teach to you today. Is that okay if I teach you those things? So the first thing that I learned is you have to acknowledge the fear. How many of you all actually sit back and acknowledge the fear that's keeping you from moving forward in your life? Yeah? Can we do that? So I'm going to yell mine out. And who's going to be confident enough to yell one of theirs out with me? Anybody? So I'm just going to go. Fear of success. That was my fear. Fear of success is yours? Do we have any more?
Rejection.
Fear of rejection.
Failure.
Fear of failure.
Fear of not being good enough.
Fear of not being good enough.
Uncertainty.
Fear of authenticity.
Oh, no, uncertainty.
Uncertainty, being uncertain in yourself, right?
Fear of receiving.
Fear of receiving, right? Fear of visibility. So these are legit fears that we fear and that we feel every single day. And the majority of us aren't talking about it. So let's go back to that fear of success. Why do we fear success? Because now all eyes are on us. Everybody's looking at us. Now this is the one time in life that we don't want anybody looking at us. Now we go and get the best outfits and we go get our hair done and we go and get the best heels because we want people to look. But then when it comes to actually stepping out into the best life that we can have, now we don't want anybody to see. Because what happens? Then we go back over to fear of failure. See, this is the thing. Failure and success are sisters. Like seriously. You cannot be successful if you don't fail. I don't trust people that ain't never failed at. If you haven't failed at anything, you can't teach me anything. Does that make sense? So you have to fail in order to succeed. It's impossible. But then we have the fear of failure. So fear of failure is, if I fail at this, and then we're going to go back to, they told me not to do it, right? They told me that I wasn't good enough. I knew that I shouldn't have done this. But the thing is, we have to stop internalizing our failure. We have to be like Thomas Edison, right? How many of you guys know the quote from Thomas Edison? That's one of my favorite quotes. He said, I didn't fail 10,000 times at creating the light bulb. I just learned 10,000 new ways not to do it, right? Right? What if we shifted our mindset around that? I didn't fail at starting my business the first time. I just realized another way not to do it. And guess what? When you endure the stretch of the failure, guess what you get to do? You get to teach someone else. You get to reach back and teach someone else. And if you're an entrepreneur and you get to teach it, that means you get to do what? You get to get paid for it. So I'm telling you, you better endure the stretch of your failures, okay? But even with the rejection, who's going to want my services? Well, no one's going to want your services if you don't put them out there. How many of you are holding back on putting your business out there? Holding back on putting things out there? How are we going to even know? We can't see you. So we have to be able to acknowledge the fear. And that's what we just did. So now that we've acknowledged it, the next thing you need to be writing down is now, what am I going to do about it? Because awareness is critical. But how can you be aware if you're not going to do anything about it? Let's see this. Okay. Your house is on fire right now. You're aware of that. You have two options. You're going to throw water on it, or you're going to walk away. You're going to call 911, or you're going to walk away, right? So why is it in our life and our dreams that instead of throwing water on it and figuring it out, we just walk away? We just walk away and we give up because of fear. So I want you to actually write it down. I'm acknowledging my fears right now. Now, what am I going to do about it? So then the next thing that you have to do to rise up and be that fearless leader, to go from fear to fearless, is tap into who you are at your core. Now, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I have a metal rod that goes from this part of my back all the way here, right? And so I had surgery when I was 15 years old, and my spine was curving onto my lung, so I had to have an emergency surgery. When I had that surgery, I grew 3 inches, okay? Because of that, I had to learn how to walk again. Where do you think they started working on me first? Anybody know? My core. My core. Because your core does what? It holds your body up. So, in order to rise into that fearless leader, you have to tap into your core because that's what's going to hold your life up. That's what's going to hold your business up. Does that make sense? Who are you at your core? If you're not operating from that place, then you won't be successful in life or business, and you will keep operating in fear. At my core, I'm a motivator. At my core, I kind of think I'm a comedian. At my core, I'm an educator. And so nothing I put out in the world is outside of that. Because when it was, I failed. Your core is your alignment. Does that make sense? So when we're talking about activating your fear less and stepping into that fearless leader and going from fear to fearless, you want to make sure that you're acknowledging the fear, tapping into your core, and increasing your confidence. How do we increase our confidence? We take action. A lot of us aren't confident in anything because we aren't taking action in anything. Action is fear's kryptonite. You want to make fear mad? Take action on something. How many of you know how to ride a bike? Did you come out the womb knowing how to ride a bike? You had to do what? You had to figure it out. And sometimes you wobble. How many of you have at least one scrape from learning to ride a bike? I know I do, right? But you had to learn, you figured it out, right? So you wobbled a little bit, you failed. You cried a little bit, probably. But then when you got confident enough, you start standing up, you started getting on the handlebars, you started putting other your friends on the back of the bike because you increased your confidence from enduring the stretch of that, right? But you took action. So in order to rise into that fearless leader, you want to make sure that you are increasing your confidence by taking action. Every one of you, now your wheels are going. What is it that's holding me back in life? We said fear of visibility, fear of rejection, fear of, what else did we say? Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being seen, right? Fear of being heard. So now we go, what am I going to do about it? How am I, what action am I going to take today, not tomorrow? Because a lot of us put things off tomorrow that we can do today. What action am I going to take today? Some of you are afraid to go up and say hey to somebody. I need everybody to turn to their neighbor right now. We are at a networking event. Turn to your neighbor right now and say, hey girl. Didn't that feel good? How many of y'all were sitting next to each other and hadn't even spoken to each other? What sense does that make? So somebody said, yeah, that's true, right? So even now you're a little bit more confident with saying hey to the next girl, to the next woman that you walk out and see. Action, right? So then the next thing is we have to face our Goliath. Now I'm going to get real with y'all, okay? So a lot of times we do put things out on fear. And listen, I know that fear is a consistent hustler. It's going to consistently tell you that you can. But at the same time, sometimes we got to put our big girl panties on and face the Goliath, right? So here's the thing. How many of you have wanted to write a book before? Anybody? How many of you haven't written your book yet? Okay. Why haven't you written your book?
Just have
It's okay, girl.
I just have belief in myself.
Belief in yourself, right? Who else? Anybody else have wanted to write? Okay, why haven't you written your book?
Focus.
Focus, right?
I don't know where to start and what I want to put in.
I don't know where to start. I don't know what to put in it, right?
Things which I want to write, but then again, focus.
Focus, right? So here's the thing. I got 3 ladies, and what if I told you, now this is a what if, right? So this is like a hypothetical not going to happen, right? So it's just make believe. What if I told you that I am going to give you $1,000 to write the first 2 chapters of your book in the next hour? What would you do? You write it. You write it. You write 5 chapters, wouldn't you? You get it done. So we find that the Goliath isn't that you don't feel belief in yourself. It's not that you don't focus. It's that you're unmotivated, right? So let's get real with ourselves. In order to rise into that fearless leader, we got to be honest with ourselves. How many of you are out there being honest with yourself? And if the Goliath is that you're not motivated, then what do you need to get motivated? Is it an accountability partner? Some of us really do pull our energy from others, you know? So is it a coach, a mentor, a program, a sisterhood? What is it for you to feel motivated enough to do this thing you know you've been called to do? So we can't put our excuses on fear or our past. We all have a past, right? We've all been broken. We have to put some respect on those broken pieces. Broken crayons still colored. Do y'all understand that? Have you ever heard that before? Let me tell you, I have a little 5-year-old. Her name is Chloe. We call her the Adventures of Chloe Lee. And one day I got a letter from her teacher, and it said, oh, it made me so mad because she wrote it on a sticky note. You couldn't even give me a whole piece of paper. And so she wrote it on a sticky note, and it said, Chloe Lee has broken all of her crayons. She will need a new pack by tomorrow. I literally looked, well, that means you must are going to go out and buy them, because I'm not about to buy any more crayons for Chloe Lee, because here's what I know. My daughter will take 10 crayons, and she will break them in half because now she has 20. Yeah. That's how her mind works. Yes. And she still colors me the perfect little stick mommies you ever did see. So what I know is that broken crayons still color, and those are the same crayons she's going to use in school tomorrow. Okay? How many of us sometimes don't move forward because of our brokenness from our past? How many of you know that your past has the potential to save someone else? There are women in this room right now who have suffered molestation, who have suffered losing children, who have suffered rape, who have suffered so much. How many of you know if you really turn to the sister next to you, your stories may not be that different from each other? We have to be okay with putting some respect on our past so that we can continue to reach back and pull one another up. And then the next thing is leading from your why. Why do you even want to be fearless? What does being fearless mean to you? Why do you even want to do it? Leading from that place. A lot of us don't even think what our why is. Your why is so much bigger than where you are right now. And so if you really would begin to lead from that place, lead from your core, that's when you begin to step into your fearlessness. That's when you begin to activate your fearless. What is your why? Why is that so important to you? How many of you know what your why is? And it's okay. See, is your mind going right now like, oh my God, what is my why? Right? Your why may be able to provide a better future for your children. Your why may be able to just provide a better life for yourself. Your why may be able to shift your mindset because you're so tired of being the only thing that's holding you back. How many of you are knowing that you're the only one that's holding you back? Because of fear. Because of fear. And you know a lot of times the fear is this big. Y'all know that, right? I have this friend, and she's terrified of dogs. Terrified. And I got a new dog one day, and my dog, I mean, it has a loud bark, but it's really not that big. And she's standing on the outside of the door, and the dog starts to bark. She goes, oh my gosh! Is that a pit bull? It must be a pit bull. Is that a Rottweiler? What do you have in there? And I'm sitting here looking at her like, you gotta be kidding me, right? Because I know what's behind the door. So I finally open the door, and guess what she sees? A Pomeranian. You're kidding me, right? Do y'all know that's what fear is like? Yeah. It barks really loud. But when we take action on it, we go what? Oh, that wasn't so bad. How many wasn't so bad. Anybody else had that before? Huh, I can do that. But fear barks loud. But it's there for a reason. To stop you from living your best life. To stop you from getting everything that you deserve. So today, Sue and I both encourage each and every one of you to go after that thing that you're being called to do. To go from fear to fearless. You deserve it. You deserve to be that best-selling author. You deserve to be that global speaker. You deserve to be able to retire yourself if that's what you want to do, and go build your business on the beach sipping Mai Tais. If that's what you want to do, girl, go do it. You deserve to live a life of and. Someone say hashtag and. Nobody? Hashtag and. Well, what does that mean? That means that you're not sacrificing anything for or. That means that you can't have the successful business and the happy marriage. That you can have the successful business and the happy family and the healthy relationship. That you're not having to sacrifice any of that. I encourage you to go from fear to fearless. To live your life of and, because you deserve it. And take fearless action. Today, not tomorrow. Let go of the people that are holding you back. How many of you guys have people that are like chains around your ankles and you're just going like this? She's like, girl, you're talking to me. But you know why? It's because of fear. Fear will convince you that you have to let people hang on to you longer than they have to. But I'll guarantee you this. I will guarantee you this. There is something much greater available for you when you're able to drop and let go of the dead weight. And that dead weight may not be people. It may be your mindset. When are you going to take action against that? When are you going to stand up now, yeah, and be fearless? So here's the thing. So what choice are you going to make today? Because your best life is on the other side of your fear. If on this day you are ready to activate your fearless, I want you to stand up. I want you to say, no one's ready to activate their fearless? Oh, come on, somebody. I want you to stand up, and I want you to say, my fearless? Oh, my goodness, Sue, come on here, Sue. They're not activated. My fearless?
My fearless
has been activated.
has been activated.
Thank you so much, Sue, for having me. For all the ladies, I do have some bracelets here that I would love to be able to give to you. So please stop by and get one of your bracelets here. I'm actually going to give you two. One for you and one for another lady that didn't get to make it to this session. And I want you to be able to give your soul sister one of these bracelets and encourage her to activate her fearless as well. Amen. Thank you. Do you have any questions for myself or Sue? Are there any questions for us?
Are you on Twitter and Facebook?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the one.
And we do.
Come and see. You're welcome. No, and then tomorrow I'm speaking about branding on social media.
That would love to step outside and give a testimonial of your experience today for Sue and myself. That would be great. If you receive anything from our session from Fear to Fearless, please step outside and let us give a small 30-second testimonial. That would be great. Thank you.
Excuse me. Can we have a round of applause for her?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much because we actually pulled us out of our fear. And I think it's
I'm going to give this to
Yes, ma'am.
And I need you to take one for Tiana when you get
Please. Okay, look at. Excuse me.
Wait, come get in this one. Go ahead.
Oh, this side. Okay. Look at.
She's doing
हो गया सारा हो गया. Look at. Look at this camera.
Just do it. No, come. Put it down. We're going to get a photo. You were in this session. Let's do it. There
Once again, look at. No.
All right, here we go.
Wait, hold it. Once again. Hold. Hold it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I want to just add one more